Ziggy, the TV Academy voted. We lost. It's okay.
Maybe for you, but not for me. Not kidding.
I'm on the horns of a dilemma here.
Judge, I understand where it's coming from. It's that Catholic school upbringing.
I don't.
Judge Frank Caprio was more than a judge. He was a man who changed the way millions of people saw justice, known as America's nicest judge. He sat on the Providence Municipal Court bench for decades and became a global figure through the show Caught in Providence. His passing on August 20th, 2025, after a battle with pancreatic cancer, left a deep silence not only in his community, but across the world. For me, Inspector Ziggy Quinn, his colleague and courtroom companion, this loss feels personal in ways words can barely explain. For years, I stood by his side in court. People around the world watched our interactions and laughed at the little moments we shared. But behind those smiles was a bond built on respect, trust, and friendship that shaped my life. Today, as I remember him, I want to speak about what it meant to share a courtroom with Judge Frank Caprio. From the very beginning, Judge Caprio showed me that justice could be delivered with kindness. Many people think of courtrooms as cold, intimidating places, but with him, it was different. He believed that every person who walked into court deserved to be treated with dignity. He always reminded me that our job was not only about enforcing rules, but about understanding lives. His compassion was not a performance, it was who he truly was. I remember how he often told me, "Ziggy, the golden rule applies everywhere, including here," and he lived by those words, whether it was a student facing a ticket, a mother struggling to make ends meet, or an elderly man rushing to care for his sick son. He listened with an open heart. He gave people a chance to explain, and through his questions, he revealed their humanity. That was the secret to why so many people loved him. He treated defendants not as case numbers, but as human beings, standing beside him. I witnessed countless moments that defined his character. There was the young man who ran a stoplight on his way to college. Judge Caprio could have fined him, but instead, he gave him a challenge to return someday with a college degree. He believed in young people and wanted them to rise higher. There was another time when a man parked in front of a fire hydrant. At first glance, it looked like a simple violation. But when the judge found out the man's son had just come home from brain surgery, he dismissed the case. He told me later, "Ziggy, sometimes compassion is more important than punishment." And I knew he was right. One case that touched us both deeply was when a grieving mother came to court after losing her son. She had unpaid tickets and very little money left. Initially, Judge Caprio reduced her fines to $50, but when he realized she only had $55 in her pocket, he dismissed the fines completely. He turned to me and said, "She has been through enough. Justice must carry a heart." Watching him that day, I understood why people called him the nicest judge in the world. Even in cases where he had to enforce the law, he made sure people walked out with dignity. He believed that justice was not about humiliation, it was about fairness. I often noticed defendants leaving the courtroom with a smile even when they had to pay a fine, because they felt respected. That was his gift. The world also saw his compassion in the famous case of Victor, a 96-year-old man who was caught speeding. When Judge Caprio asked why, Victor explained that he was driving his 63-year-old son to cancer treatment. The courtroom fell silent. Judge Caprio dismissed the case and blessed him. But he went further than that. He stayed in touch with Victor, and on Victor's 100th birthday, he showed up at his home. That is the kind of man he was. He carried his faith into every decision, reminding us that the law should never lose its humanity. For me, being by his side through these moments was a privilege. People around the world remember Judge Caprio for his wisdom and compassion, but I remember him as a friend, someone who made the courtroom feel less like a place of judgment and more like a place of understanding. Judge Caprio often teased me, and we laughed together in court. Those small interactions became a part of the show that so many people loved, but to me, they were reminders of how genuine he was. He wanted people to feel at ease, even in difficult moments. Now that he is gone, the courtroom feels empty. The chair he once occupied is a symbol of justice wrapped in kindness. I stand here with gratitude for the years we shared, every time. I hear people remember the laughter, the compassion, and the fairness of Judge Caprio. I know his spirit continues to live on. He taught me, and he taught the world, that being a judge is not only about the law, it is about carrying a heart beneath the robe. His words still guide me. I don't have a badge under my robe. I have a heart. As I pay this tribute, I know millions across the world feel the same loss I do. Judge Frank Caprio was more than a judge. He was a teacher, a mentor, and a friend. And while the world may remember him as America's nicest judge, I will always remember him as Frank, the man who showed me that true justice is built on respect, compassion, and humanity.